Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Potted Together podcast. I'm Nicole, and I am joined by not 2 co-hosts today, but 3. We have a special guest today, Amanda Ray Wright from Instagram. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, so glad to be here.
I have been dreaming about this day for a very long time. I'm so excited. When I reached out to Amanda and asked her if she would love to be a guest on our podcast, she said yes pretty quickly, and I was like, oh my god, she said yes. I'm so excited. I finally get to talk to you, like in person, kind of.
Well, I've been secretly hoping you would ask me because I want to talk to you guys too. So
Yay! You're pretty high on our list. Yeah. And Adam and Becca, we are going to start with a little catch up of our past week. So why don't we just chat about it? Adam, how's your week going?
The week's been good. I finished my taxes with the help of a very dear friend, and if you're listening, you know who this is. But yeah, my taxes are not finished, but they're close to being finished. So
nice.
That's a huge relief. I'm such a procrastinator.
That's pretty big.
They extended the deadline, and I'm just like, well, I got some more time. And then the deadline came, and I was like, well, I should do this.
That's a big deal. I bet it's a huge relief, off your chest.
Yeah, and our co-host Becca, who is very versed in all of the tax and business stuff.
Yes, it was my
help.
job.
But
keyword.
sometimes it's just hard to reach out to people when you need help, and that's what I struggle with too. I could be just drowning, and it's just hard for me to ask for help, but Becca supplied some help, and then another dear friend of the podcast supplied some help. So I feel in a good spot in life right now.
Good.
Because that was a cloud hanging
awesome.
over my head.
Good.
with taxes, though, isn't it just do your best and they won't send you to jail?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's how
Make
I
a
look
good
at it.
effort. Yeah.
As long as you're not trying to steal from the government and you just don't know what you're doing.
That's right. Ignorance is bliss.
We
Very
hope.
true.
We hope at least.
Becca, how's your week?
This week has been a whirlwind. I've been helping a family member with some stuff, and I've been driving all around Missouri, which has been so cool because I've actually seen a lot of the backwoods, and I don't know. It's Missouri is not a place I ever thought I would live. And I don't know if I necessarily love it even still, but it is just so pretty. And it was such a treat to drive around and see all the green and everything. I mean, and it's also been raining for the last 10 days, almost
I know.
nonstop. Is it the same in Chicago?
Yeah, Midwest. I feel
Midwest.
we get your leftover weather. So I feel
Yeah.
anytime it starts raining here, I'm just oh, Becca went through this already. Sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've gotten 4 inches of rain in the last 2 days. Is that a lot?
Yeah.
I think so.
But we've been hitting, I feel we've been in a pretty big drought in Chicago. A lot of the Midwest has. So I feel we needed it.
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying. It was definitely needed, so it's good. But anyway, not to talk about the weather. But yeah, it's been a... It's just been
Sounds like when I call my mom, she's like, well, what's the weather like?
How's the weather?
We always said when there's nothing else to talk about, someone if it gets there's a lull in a conversation, someone will always mention the weather, without a doubt. So
It's a safe zone.
Yeah, it's everyone can talk about the weather. But anyway, we're not having a lull in the conversation. That's just how boring life is right now. So yeah, that's.
But you're doing
me.
a lot of gardening.
I am. Yeah,
The rain's good for that.
Yes, it is. And I'm figuring out where all like the flood areas are in the yard because like, I don't know, no one was really maintaining anything. So with all of the rain, I'm seeing like a bunch of puddles and I don't know, just things that need help. And the gardening is so fun. Like, it's been so much fun. I do a video every week on YouTube, and it's the video I look forward to the most. Like, houseplant stuff, I'm like, bye. I don't like houseplants anymore.
Houseplant? Who's she?
I know. Once you hit the heat of the summer, you'll go back to houseplants. I go through like ebbs and flows, like outside gardening, inside gardening.
Yeah. I've been really enjoying watching your stories about your outside stuff, like getting inspired. Where do you live? Remind me.
I'm in North Carolina, Raleigh.
What the heck? Why did I think you were in like New England?
Well, that would be awesome, but no.
And Raleigh, that's a beautiful area. I visited a few years ago. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is
it's good, really good for gardening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So what zone is that? What zone is that?
It's 7B.
Okay.
7B.
Yeah, so we can grow a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like some things, I think it's a good balance. Like my husband wishes we lived in the Pacific Northwest so he could like really grow all the conifers how they're supposed to be because they don't really love it here because it's a little too hot in the summer, but they're doing all right. They're not dead.
Yeah. I feel like the humidity plays a good role like where you're at. Like, you know, your plants love that.
Yeah, it's like tropical in the summer.
So how has your week been, Amanda?
Oh, wait, was Becca done? Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is what we do all the time. We go on
do.
tangents and then we forget what we were saying.
And it's usually me. It's usually me cutting people off.
Yeah, I'm done. I want to hear about Amanda's week.
I'm done.
I'm done.
Thanks.
Well, I've just been doing a lot of gardening too. So May is our like go month because I have this cutoff for myself that all the new plants I put in the spring need to be in the ground before June because then it gets really hot and it's really hard to keep them alive. Like they need to have time to get their roots into the ground before the heat. So we've just been frantically gardening up this one side of our house that didn't have any gardens. We had some like retaining walls put in this year. And my husband and I he lays out his trees first and then I go in with perennials and shrubberies and stuff to fill it out. So we've just been like neglecting our children and like go watch Frozen for the 1,000th time while we plant all the plants. So we've been like frantically like, the end of May is approaching. Like we got to get all this stuff planted, but
It like snuck up on us. I feel like this spring has just come and is leaving.
Yeah, it went fast. Last year, I feel like spring was longer. It stayed cool longer here, at least.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
But your husband's
plants.
a pretty amazing gardener. Like he's out in the garden quite a bit, right, with you?
Yeah. So he's as crazy about conifers and Japanese maples as I am about tropicals. So we kind of enable each other. Like he doesn't want to cut me off because then I'll cut him off. So now we both have like way too many plants and trees. But it's like a fun shared hobby. He didn't get into it until a few years ago, but I've been into it for a lot longer. So it's really fun that he finally came around.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Your yard is incredible.
Nicole has a Japanese maple now.
I do.
You do?
I have a Japanese maple, and I was told by my last YouTube video, because I put a YouTube video out before researching anything in my backyard. I probably should have just DM'd you, Amanda. But apparently I have a Japanese maple bush, too, that's like a pretty highly sought out bush. I'm really excited about this. Yeah.
Yeah, it has
Cool.
like the skinny leaves. It
Mm-hmm.
looks like a fern, but it
Yeah,
does.
some of them have the really intricate leaves.
It's so pretty.
There's a million kinds, and my husband knows like all the Latin names. He's like, that's Acer palmatum, and then it's like some Japanese word, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying, but that's a pretty one.
Yeah, you're like, it's pretty. That's what I said. I said it's very pretty.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited about that. I think that the Japanese maple tree is probably the like my focal point. Like it's what I look at the most when I'm in the backyard. So
Oh yeah, they're beautiful trees for sure.
yeah, so pretty.
So not to like pry into your personal life very much, but like what flipped the switch for your husband? Just like getting something and was like, okay, I like this now.
So it was moving actually. So our last house, we had like a really cute 1971 A-frame. And it was like the cutest house ever. It was in the woods, so there was no light coming to the house. So like all my houseplants were miserable. I had like grow lights in the basement trying to grow my houseplants. And he like wanted to plant trees, but it was so shady that you couldn't really do much. And there were so many tree roots. So we moved just because we were going to have another kid and we needed a little more space since I work from home and stuff. And we had this big empty open yard, and he started like, at first he started out just like watering the new sod they put in, and he was like trying to keep that alive. And then he like bought a few trees, and then I was like, well, you can't just stick the trees out there, that looks dumb, you need to have garden beds. And then he like started like getting more and more into it, and then he just like went nuts, like stalking down like local Japanese maple growers and like begging them to let him come to their nursery and like for a private tour. And I mean, he went totally crazy. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
That's
it was
so
totally
relatable.
moving, and having like the light and the space to grow things. And yeah, my collection really took off when we moved here too, with all the windows. I was like, I just need a house with more sun coming in.
Yeah, your home is stunning.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's
Thank
not just
you.
like, not even just the architecture, like your style, which I don't even know what you would classify it as. In me, I'm like, I classify it as like boho chic, but it's just like, I don't know. I'm in love with
Thank
every
you
single
so
picture you
much.
post.
Yeah.
It was scary because I feel like when we moved in, my last house had a lot of interesting architectural, I mean, not all good because it was from the 70s, but I like went with it and it like made a lot of choices for me. But this house was just like a big white box inside. So when we moved here, I was kind of terrified like how I was going to make it feel homey. And it ended up just being like, get 1 zillion plants and put them everywhere and like mix in some mid-century furniture. And, you know, yeah, it feels like home now. So
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It is.
Well, I'm glad the hubby got on board with the plant gang, because it just makes life better.
And you
Yes,
get your kids
absolutely.
involved too. Like I see you getting your kids involved with that too. I love that. I wish my kids were more into gardening. They like houseplants, but like being outside and doing gardening stuff is just really not their thing.
yeah, well, I'm sure once they're older, like they're 2 and 5. So
Yeah.
once they're older, they're going to be like, whatever, mom and dad, like you go do your thing outside.
Now they're like, wait, we get to get dirty and we're not going to get in trouble for it?
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
That's awesome. Well, I kind of want to ask about your origins with houseplants. Like, how did you start collecting, and what was your first plant? Stuff like that. What got you started?
Oh, let's see. The first plant I ever remember getting was my parents bought me a little, my parents were gardeners actually. So we were always going to greenhouses and stuff on the weekends.
cool.
And they bought me one of those little cacti that has like the white fur, and they're like round. I have no idea what they're called, but they got me
Little
this little
man
cacti,
cactus?
and I was probably 6 or 7. Like I was really young, but I remember having it in my room, and I was like, okay, you don't water cactus ever. So I never, ever watered it. And I'm pretty sure it was dead most of the time I had it, but it kind of preserved because I never watered it. So I just had that on my desk for a really long time. And eventually I was like, okay, I think this thing is dead. And I threw it out. And then I remember buying a ficus tree with my allowance when I was around 10. At Kmart. It was on sale at Kmart for $10, and it was like a
my
good
gosh,
sized ficus. And I was
Kmart.
like, this is
Blast for the
awesome.
cats.
Yeah, Kmart. So, you know, I got it home to my room and I set it all up in the corner. I was like, this is great. It's like I have a forest in my room. And then the next morning there were dead millipedes all over the floor that had like crawled out of the pot. So I was immediately like, nope, I'm not doing this. I was like, I don't even know what happened to it. I think I just dragged it outside and my parents got rid of it. I was like, this is not okay. So then I didn't have any more plants after that until high school. I had like a lucky bamboo plant. And then I took that to college. And then when I was in college, I started collecting a few plants. Like once I had a space to decorate, like my dorm room, I had like a fatsia, and it died pretty quick, and a maidenhair fern, which had like 2 fronds, and money tree,
classic.
marantas. Like I was just always like getting plants and killing them. So yeah, all through college. And then I've just always had plants. Like, I don't know, it would be weird to not have plants.
Yeah.
And the more I moved and got more windows, the more plants I got. And then we got to this house, I started getting into more rare plants. Like once I had enough light to keep things alive, I wasn't as worried about like, you know, I'm not going to kill this $50 plant. I got this kind of thing. So yeah, I guess I've just always had them, and it just kind of escalated over the years as I got more windows.
Well, it seems like you're pretty determined because all of those little tidbits of life stories involve you killing plants, and you have a beautiful house full of houseplants now. So
Yeah, I finally figured it out.
that just goes to show, just don't give up. It's just a plant. It might die, but you can get another one and try again.
Yeah, killing plants is how I learned. So it's definitely a legit method of learning.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Let's see. Oh my gosh. Okay, so
I was going to ask what was your first plant. So you took that from me.
oh, okay.
So now I'm thinking. Okay, so I have a question for you.
Okay.
I was watching your recent stories about your Fatsia japonica, and I have a Fatsia japonica in a pot, and it's so funny how you potted it or you planted it in the ground, which I never knew that could be part of landscape. Like I've always seen it as a house plant. I've never seen it like out in a landscape. And you said it could get 7 feet tall.
Yes.
Like that's insane.
Yeah,
and I really want to
even
try
bigger.
it.
Yeah.
I really want to try it, but I know it won't survive like Chicago winters. Like I highly, highly doubt it'll survive.
You'd have to Google it. I just kind of know what will work here, but I've seen them at local garden centers, and there's like some gardens we visit every year, and their Fatsias are humongous, like just like so lush and tropical looking. And yeah, so I was like, I could keep this inside and it would kind of be miserable and not live up to its potential, or I could put it outside and then have more room inside for other plants.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I had mine inside all last winter because I got it at the end of last summer, and it was so happy outside. I mean, just like it was busting out of the pot. It was so happy. And I brought it in, and of course it was like, wow, like really, you're gonna really do this to me? And it like lost half of its leaves. And I recently brought it back outside, and it's getting new growth already, and it's only been out there for like 5 days. So
that's amazing.
I know, it's such a cool plant. I love it. So I was very curious about like them being part of landscape. So I'm really excited to see how yours does.
Yeah, I hope they do well. Mine haven't been out there long enough yet to get big. Because I kept buying them and then not finding a spot for them, and so they don't really thrive in pots as much as they do in the ground. So I've kind of been taking care of them, and finally they're in the ground. So I think this time next year I should have some pretty big Fatsias.
Pretty fat Fatsias.
Yes.
Oh my
it's like
gosh.
the long game.
Yeah, they're so cool. I actually saw them for the first time in the Pacific Northwest. I was in, I think, Seattle. That was the first time I ever saw them. I didn't even know they existed. So, and they were outside. So I didn't even know that they could be a house plant. So I'm like backwards from Nicole.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they're really cool. But okay, I have a question about, like, obviously you have a lot of plants. Like if anybody looks at your Instagram, which is beautiful, by the way, so definitely go follow Amanda on Instagram. Every time I see just like all these plants, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, does anybody ever knock them over? Like, how do you care for all of these? Like, because you have young kids. So how does that work with them and everything like that?
Well, when they were really little, they both went through like trying to eat mom's plants phase. I didn't really baby proof at all. I just kind of followed them around for a few months, like, because it's kind of a short-lived phase, like in the grand scheme of things. And I wanted them to learn to get used to the plants, like they're white noise and you just leave them alone, which worked. But it did take a few months of like constant supervision and like scooting them away and being like, no.
Yeah.
So once they got through that phase, now they're pretty good. Every once in a while, one will get knocked over, like when everybody is roughhousing or something. But I try to keep so the room that everybody thinks is my living room is actually like, it's kind of like a sunroom area. It's not the actual living room. So the kids aren't in there playing that much. So if they go in there, I'm just kind of keeping a close eye on them and making sure they don't like ride their bike into a plant. I keep the harder to replace plants over there where it's like more safe. And then I'll have like, Hartley philodendrons and stuff everywhere else. So if they get beat up a little, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I definitely have to be okay with some plant damage, having them inside with kids, because it's just bound to happen.
Yeah.
Actually, my husband knocks over a lot of them too. So
Yeah.
He's like, why can't I throw a ball inside? I'm like, because no one's allowed to throw a ball inside. That's like a normal rule, isn't it? Like, doesn't everybody have that rule? Like, even if I didn't have plants.
Yes, for sure.
It's a sore spot.
That's funny. My partner is very like bowl and china shop around my plants too. Like he will put the blinds down in the bedroom and stuff, and like some of the leaves are kind of like hanging over.
You gotta
and
be
so
careful.
I'm like, when you put the blinds down, you gotta like
Scoot
and
them
he's
a
just
little.
like, and they just like fly down, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then part of it is my fault because I leave a lot of plants in the sink constantly because I'm always, flushing or watering, and if they're in the sink and they're in his way, he's just like, whatever. Like, I'm still doing my stuff in the sink.
Doing dishes over your plant.
Dinner ready. And I'm just like, don't touch my plant.
Yeah, we've definitely had that argument. Don't touch my plant. So why is it in the sink? Well, I'm working on it actively. Like, I need another sink that's just for plants.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. My husband offered to make me a sink so that I would never have to use this one in the kitchen ever
You should
again.
take him up on that.
I know. I need a sink like right outside the door because I have a sunroom too, just like right outside. And
That would be a good idea.
Just there you go.
Yeah, you could just have a whole potting area in there and stuff too. That'd be really neat.
That would be really,
Yes.
that would be helpful. But yeah, how long have you guys been married?
15 years in July. This is our 15 year, yeah.
Oh, wait,
We
I
got
have to ask. July what?
July 22nd.
Okay. Me and my husband are July 17th. July's a good
Oh,
month.
nice, yeah.
It's a
It's a little, we wish we got married in the spring now because then we could go on like fun anniversary garden trips or something. And in July, it's just too hot.
It's too hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, 15 years. We got married right out of college.
Oh, wow. That's really sweet. And his name is Daniel as well, right?
Yes.
His name, well, not that your name is Daniel. My husband's name is Daniel.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know. Every time you talk about your husband, I'm like, all husbands are named Daniel.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Okay, well, I mean, I know we've mentioned that Amanda's on Instagram, and the Instagram username is Amanda Ray Wright, R-A-E, Wright.
Yep.
Any relation to Frank Lloyd?
No, but it does have that ring to it. I mean, it's just Daniel's
Yeah.
last name. So they're
Yeah.
from his family from Ohio.
Very
So-
cool.
Okay.
I don't know
So,
who this
yeah,
person
that's-
is.
I don't know
This is-
any of the history.
You don't know who Frank Lloyd Wright is?
He's a very
The
famous
architect? Yeah, I wish.
Oh.
Daniel could do maples and architecture.
Yeah. But yeah, you have a very popular account, and for good reason.
Yeah.
And that's how I think we've all just been introduced to you. And there's very few people we talk about like a lot on this podcast, and I think you're one of them. Like,
Thank you.
you know,
I always
the
hear, I'm like,
content.
oh, they're talking about me. There's like one episode you guys were talking about like crowding plants around windows, and I was like, do I do that? I think I do that. And then Becca was like Amanda Ray Wright doesn't do that. And I was like, oh, phew, I don't do that.
We're glad that we can speak truth into your life.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I mean, you do it in such a tasteful way. Like, it just, like, there's a lot of plants, of course, but it doesn't look like bad, you know? I mean, I think that's such a
Thank
such a
you.
fine
That's always my
line.
goal.
Yeah, it's such
It
a
is a
fine
fine
line
line.
to have a lot of plants and for it to not look like you're a hoarder. So, like, how do you tiptoe that line?
I think being able to get rid of stuff for sure. Like I'm trying to clear out some stuff because there are certain areas where it got a little too hoardery for me lately. Like I'm just like, whoa. And, so just like curating it down and plants you don't love, like not keeping them out of obligation. And then I also try to keep my pots kind of cohesive, like neutrals and textures and not... Because I think if you have kind of a rainbow collection of pots, it can look a little wild with all the plants too, and then furniture in there as well. So just kind of keeping the color palette toned down and then let the leaves bring the color. That helps a lot. And then I do, to an extent, I try to like arrange them like I would outside in the garden. Like, you know, leaf colors that complement each other, like different textures next to each other, like big leaves next to small leaves. So it kind of makes like a pleasing arrangement and it looks more stylized and not just like a storage area of plants.
A plant shop.
Storage area. Yeah. That's the vibe you don't want to.
Yeah, I definitely have corners that are storage areas and I'm like, ooh.
When I first came across your account, I just right away assumed that you were some type of interior designer just based
Same.
on your aesthetic.
thanks.
And yeah, it was just beautiful. But I also love the fact of like your cash po game is just goals, So I think I'm really attracted to that too, and how you coordinate different cash posts for different plants. And, you bring home a plant straight from the nursery. You're not repotting it. You're just placing it in a cash po. And this way you can switch them out. And I love that. So that's something that I'm going to try to do more of in the new house with my new setup. I'm really excited.
It's almost as fun to collect pots as it is to collect plants. Almost.
Yes.
Not quite.
Yeah. I remember when I started collecting plants and everyone was like, you have to have drainage, you have to have drainage. And I'm like in Home Goods and At Home and all of these stores. And I'm like, none of these pots have drainage. But then somewhere along the line, I realized that I can just put the nursery pot inside this pot. And that's golden,
Totally.
Yeah.
Now drainage annoys me because I'm like, dang it, now I have to put like a liner inside the pot before I put my nursery pot in there. I was like, oh.
That's how you know that you're doing pretty good in the houseplant game, when you're not really looking for drainage because you know your plants. You maybe take them to the sink to water them anyway. So yeah.
I take them to the bucket so I don't have to take them to the sink. I have like a bucket that I carry around with me to let them drip so I don't have to run back and forth, because that would be
smart.
That would be insane.
Yeah, tell us more about that.
tip.
What's that situation?
Yeah, so, well, a lot of them, I guess all my plants are kind of different. Some of them I just water lightly so I don't have to move them at all. And some of them that have like a really chunky aeroid mix, I like to run water through the pot. So I just have a little bucket that I carry around with me, and I'll take the nursery pot out of the cash po and hold it over my big bucket and run the water through and let it drip into the bucket and put it back and then move along to the next one. It saves a lot of time. And then I can also, I just like throw, yellow leaves or whatever crap you collect as you're watering into that bucket as well. And it kind of looks nice at the end of the night. It's like a bucket of salad with like water in it. I don't know. It's like a weird water garden of junk.
Don't eat it.
Yeah. I need to like start documenting my crap bucket at the end of watering day.
I would watch that Reels.
I would watch that. That sounds really cool.
There you go. Now you have an idea for your next Reels.
I
Crappy
know.
bucket of water.
I guess I'm curious. Sorry, I'm curious as to like what got you to start your Instagram, or did you start it with plants and then start it with like personal life and it kind of just morphed into plants, or is your Instagram specifically just for plants? Like, what was the inspiration behind doing that?
That's a good question. Okay, so I started with just my business as Instagram. My business is Wit and Whistle. I design and illustrate like planty products. It didn't used to be planty products, but now it's headed that way, just all planty stuff. So I had my business account and I kept wanting to post my plants, but I felt like it wasn't really appropriate, like to be posting pictures of my house and decor. And I kind of like aspire to do interior design, but I don't want to do it for anyone else, just for me. So I wanted to like post my interiors and stuff. So I started a personal account, and it was just going to be more like home decor. And I was also going to put pictures of fine art that I was working on and stuff like that. But as I started posting more plant content, people kept asking more and more questions about it. And I started doing little stories, like showing what I was doing with my plants. And then people had even more questions, and it just kind of snowballed into a plant account. And now it feels weird to post anything else on there. Like it was supposed to be a personal account at the beginning, but I guess my personal life is filled with plants. So maybe that's appropriate.
As is all of ours, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wit and Whistle. If you guys have not visited Amanda's store yet online, it is so cute. I've gotten quite a few of your stickers.
Thank you.
And I've gotten gifted a few of them.
Nice.
I love them. I love them. So definitely check that out. But what did that start out as? Was it always just kind of stationery and stickers? Is there more to...
Yeah. Starting out, it was just cards. Well, I went to school for graphic design, and I worked at a design firm for a few years, and I was just bored. I don't know. It was like making logos for law firms and annual reports for colleges. And I mean, it was a really good job, but I was like, this is not as fun as design school led me to believe it would be. So I kind of started selling on Etsy, like making little greeting cards. And I started out with kind of off-color greeting cards, which no one was really doing. Let's see. I think 12 years ago is when I started Wit and Whistle. So no one was really doing a lot of, I mean, I would have cards with like fart jokes and like pictures of uteruses and like, I don't know, just kind of like crude humor, but not so crude you would be embarrassed to like show your grandmother.
I love it.
And so the cards really took off, and then I just kind of kept trying new product types, and I got around to enamel pins like 5 years ago, and I did some plant ones. and the plant ones have gotten like a lot of traction. So now I do. Oh, a hawk just flew by my window.
Oh, cool.
That's cool. Okay, sorry.
You fit in well here.
That was crazy. It was like really
I'm
close.
really jealous because I'm sitting in a closet staring at clothes.
Oh, I wondered if you were going to ask me to go in my closet, but you didn't. So I was like, okay, I'm not doing that.
I bet your closet's beautiful too, so I'm glad you're not in
I do
there.
have a lot of plants in there. It is a nice closet, I will say.
You have plants in your closet?
Oh, yeah. I have probably 100 plants in my closet. There's a window.
Is there
There's
a
a
window?
south-facing
Okay.
window in there.
Okay,
so
that's
I
your
couldn't
next
waste it.
reel. That's the next reel.
Yeah, wait a minute. Have we ever
There's
seen that on
pictures of
Instagram?
it on my feed, yeah. I just always do a little hashtag that's like closet garden, and people don't really notice that it's my closet.
Oh, that's
Oh my
so
god.
cool.
I'm going to go back
And
and
I'm
look.
gonna go search that hashtag now.
Me too.
Yeah,
And then I'm just gonna be fuming mad at the amazing closet you probably have.
there's not many clothes in there, just a little bit. I'd rather buy plants, so.
Yes.
That's really cool that you've been doing Wit and Whistle for that long. My 13-year-old daughter just started coming out with some stickers, and she started an Etsy shop, and she's been kind of struggling like with what to make next. She's thinking that she has to like do something different, and I was like, if you enjoy creating stickers, then just stay creating stickers. Just create whatever you like, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So your story is pretty inspirational, so I'm gonna have to share that with her.
Yeah, I did just cards for the longest time. And you can, I mean, I sell, most of my business now is wholesale to stores, and I have, hundreds of stores that just buy cards.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So that's your
love that.
full gig. Like that's what you do all day. You're making designs and handling wholesale orders and everything like that.
Yeah, I don't do it all day. I work like 3 days a week now because I hired my mom. So we work together 3 days a week, and she ships all the orders and like helps maintain inventory and stuff like that. And then I do all the other stuff. And then we have the kids here too. So it's been really interesting. I'm
make
excited
time.
for kindergarten to start in the
Smile
fall.
through the pain, Amanda.
Yeah.
Smile through the pain.
Yeah, it's like, whew, we kind of trade off. Like if she has a lot of orders to ship, I'll like distract the kids for a while. And then when she's done doing that, she'll distract the kids so I can work on new product designs. And it's a madhouse over here, but we get it all
awesome,
done.
though. That's
is
really
awesome.
cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
So all of the inventory is at your house then? Like
Yeah,
it's fully run out of your
you
house.
Can, well, I don't know if I can pick my computer up, but you can see it over there. See the
Oh,
shelf?
cool.
Yeah.
Of course, it
okay.
looks like a showroom.
Beautiful. Just gonna
Look,
come
I need
shopping.
things to be pretty, okay? It's a thing with me.
No, it's good. I love that.
I can't
really
help it.
like. It's aspirational.
There's also a lot of junk around too, but it's like pretty and then junk everywhere. It's hard to keep it clean.
Gosh, that sounds like me. I'm pretty, but I have junk everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, it's always a tug of war.
So I guess like one thing I've been curious is, so graphic design, creativity in a creative field sometimes have ebbs and flows on like if you're feeling it or not. Obviously at your firm you were not feeling it because that would be boring, just doing logos for lawyers, etc. But like, how do you push through those moments now that this is like your business that you own and you work from home? How do you push through those moments of feeling like not creative? Do you have those moments often or at all, and what helps you get over that?
Yeah, definitely have those moments a lot, especially the last year, just like being trapped at home with no outside influences or anything. I think it helps me a lot to like try to find a new product type, or I guess I've tried a lot of different product types over the years, and some of them worked out and some of them haven't, but just like focus, like doing a new project can help a lot. Sometimes just taking a break from it, like the orders, I have like regular wholesale customers, so it's not like I have to constantly be coming up with stuff. So just giving myself grace to take a break and like, you know what, I don't have any new Mother's Day cards this year, so you can just buy what I had from before, or like, just kind of give that balance, because it is just me creating all this stuff. So, I think, it's like a different than if it was a bigger business, I guess, and there would be multiple people to pick up the slack. But yeah, I can't like beat myself up over it if I'm not feeling it. I don't want to force it and make products that aren't good and that I'm not proud of.
Yeah.
That's
Totally
that's super
understand
important.
it's also nice that you get to hire your mom and you get to spend some time with your mom, and it's kind of like a family thing, you know?
Yeah, and she's so much closer with the kids than she would have been, because she started part-time like 5 years ago. So it's been a long time. So she's like really close with her grandkids, and
That's so cool.
it's been really, really great, and we get along well. And I think that could go really poorly for some people, but it works out really well with my mom.
I think you would have found that out earlier on, and then
Yeah,
maybe,
totally.
Yeah.
maybe Daniel will be packing orders.
Yes.
Yes, I worked for my mom's company, and it's nice to work with family. It has its perks and, you know, personalities and everything. I mean, it's definitely nice to work with family for a lot of reasons, you know. So that's really sweet that you guys get to do that. I love that.
Yeah, it's great.
Well,
And she
what
only
else?
judges me a little bit when more plant mail comes. She gives me this look when I bring a box in, like, is that a plant?
Another box, Amanda?
Is that another
Come
plant?
on.
I'm like, shut up.
Yeah. Well, where do you plant shop? Because you do unboxing stuff. So where do you typically plant shop at?
Oh, well, there's a lot of good nurseries here locally, which I'm super spoiled. So a lot of my bigger plants I got locally. And then online, I love Steve's Leaves, Plants in Pamprin, Land of Alice Studio. Just Etsy and eBay are good. Like if there's something really hard to find that you don't mind splurging a little on, sometimes it's worth checking those places. Gosh, I feel like there's a bunch I'm missing. I do have a list on my Instagram in the FAQs. I put like a list of my favorite online sellers. So if anybody wants
fun.
to check those out. I've also bought from a lot of super shady people and like random like international Instagram accounts that you find, and they're like,
Yeah.
please Western Union us money, and you're like,
No.
I totally did it though.
That's okay.
And
It worked out.
live
It
and
worked
you
out.
learn.
Yeah, I only did that once, but it did work out. And all the plants are still alive. But you know, I've done
Success.
some like shady plant transactions.
Oh my
But-
god.
You live and you learn. You live and you
Yeah,
learn.
yeah. It's always a gamble. I wouldn't put out more than I could lose for an international order, but
Yeah, that's the thing with that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what's your top tip for like vetting places like that? Because there are a lot of international Instagram shops and, you know, whatever else. Lots
Yeah.
of places that you'll see on Etsy, eBay. Like, how do you look at a listing and say, okay, this is a good one?
I've kind of quit ordering internationally now, because I think now that the plant craze is like in full swing, there's a lot of like random sellers internationally that are popping up that maybe aren't as experienced. I think a year and 2 years ago when I was importing more stuff, it was more of the established sellers that know what they're doing. So now if I was going to import something, I would probably look on Etsy where you can read some reviews like from other people. And there's a lot of new international sellers on Etsy with no reviews, and I would not order there unless you're willing to lose that money.
Yeah.
eBay, you can read reviews too. Like there's a few good international Hoya sellers on eBay that have like tons of good reviews, and that will replace the plants if they arrive dead and stuff like that. Yeah, I think it's just all about the reviews now, or word of mouth. There used to be a plant seller review website on Facebook.
Oh.
I can't remember what it was called, but maybe if you search Facebook for that, and then you could search for sellers and see like other people's experiences, or if anyone was like, stay away from, you know, whatever the
Yeah.
scam artist is. So
Yeah, I think we touched base on this briefly in another episode about like just really reading reviews and seeing what other people's experiences are like. And I know, you know, all plant places and plant shops that are just getting started, maybe they don't have reviews. So obviously if you're going to order from a shop that doesn't have any reviews, they may be great. They have to start somewhere, but just know that there's a chance you could possibly lose that money and
Right.
it goes south because,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
And if you order through Etsy or eBay or PayPal, like at least you have the bigger company kind of backing your money. Like if the
Right.
person never sends the product, then you can at least get your money back, like set up a claim, or you're not
Right.
totally screwed. Whereas
Yeah,
like
I've
Western
had-
Union is not recommended.
I've had a couple people be like, okay, well, send the money to my mom's PayPal account as a friends and family, or send it to my, you know, aunt's PayPal account, like, and I was just like, this just does not feel right.
Yeah.
I mean, it did work, but it was a gamble, and I don't know if I would do it again.
Yeah, always the friends and family thing is painful when they ask for that, because you're like, oh, I really want the plant, but I also don't want to get scammed.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I'll pay it a couple extra dollars for the goods and services if you want me
totally.
to.
Yeah. Do they do that so that you could save money? Or
Well, there's no recourse with friends and family.
Right.
Like, you can't file claims. And so and they also pay a fee for goods and services. I think it's 3%.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, is they don't want to pay the fee for the PayPal transaction. Right. So if you do friends and family, the seller doesn't pay the fee. But it's not that much. Yeah, I'd totally rather pay a little more and have that coverage, safety net.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. That is a good point. I feel like I'm very safe with when I buy plants online. Like, I have my places that I've vetted. I almost bought a billetier from some shop I don't remember where they were, not in the United States. And it sat in my cart for so long, and then it got sold, and I was so sad. But I'm just not very risky with that kind of stuff. So, I mean,
I'm bringing you a cutting.
You are?
Yes, you gave me that plant, and it's flipping huge now, and I'm going to bring you a cutting of it.
Well, no, I didn't. No.
Yes.
Just take it, Becca.
You can just give it to me, Adam. I'll appreciate it. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
But yes, no, not specifically referring to the billetier, but I feel like I'm the same way. Like, I did some risky things at the beginning of my plant journey, and now I'm just like, I don't think I want to do that anymore.
Yeah, I think I was like driven for a long time by what plant I wanted, and I didn't care who was selling it. If they had it and it looked decent, I was like, all right, I'll try it. But then, I've had enough rehabs that I'm kind of over it now, and I'm just like content with my happy, healthy plants. And you never know what pests or diseases you're going to bring in or what kind of issues. So,
Right.
But I totally get it for a super wish list plant, like taking some risks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super wish list. Yeah. I think that after you rehab enough plants, you're just over it. Like what you said.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it so much, and I just want the plant to be happy when I get it. So if I have to spend a little more to get it like locally or even within the US, I'll probably be more likely to do that. Just because it's so stressful to have to rehab. Because if it goes south,
especially when you have a collection like as big as our collection, you bring a plant in that has a pest, and it's a huge risk to have to rehab your whole collection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to tiptoe into a subject now about when I blocked and reported your Instagram account for making a video about
Dun.
Leca.
I thought it was so nice in that video.
You were.
I recorded it twice. The first one was kind of mean. I had to redo it.
I love that. Self-edit.
I want to see the first one.
I deleted it. I was like, this will never see the light of day.
But I do want to start this by saying, like, I am never, like, telling people, you have to do Leca, you have to do Leca. But I do know that there's probably some people out there that do that. And I know that it's not good for everyone. So what I really appreciate about your video is your honesty. And, like, look, I have lots of plants and soil and Leca. The two different mediums was a pain in the ass, technically, to, like, manage in your whole collection.
Yeah.
Oops, I dropped my microphone. But I guess I want to know, what started you on Leca? Like, what made you want to try Leca? And then what were, like, the big factors and you're like, screw this, I'm done. I mean, aside from all of the balls falling all over the floor, which, again, I told you my cat loves, but I hate because they go literally everywhere.
I'm still finding Leca on my floor. I think I started initially just because I saw a lot of people using it with good success. And I don't know, it's like trendy. So like I like to try trends and see if they're worth the hype. I really liked the idea of like plants that weren't doing well in soil. Like maybe I could try them in Leca and see if they like that, or like thirstier plants that I was having a hard time judging when to water. That seemed really appealing, to just fill the reservoir and not worry about it. That's probably the main reasons that I wanted to try it in the first place.
Yeah.
And then I guess the big deal breakers for me ended up being like the transition period for a lot of my plants. I don't know if I just have funky water or something, but like my plants did not, like I always see people like, oh, I transitioned it to leca and it didn't even, you know, bat a plant eye. Like it was just fine. And I'm like, mine did not do that. Like I know I tried a lot of, Nicole. I tried a lot of, I mean, obviously calatheas are hard anyway, but I killed a lot of calatheas transitioning them. And I tried a few philodendrons and they didn't die, but they didn't do any better. And then if you do a bigger plant, you can't get the support to stay up, and then it's just falling out all over the place. And like, how many times did the whole plant just uproot and fall off my shelf and like throw leca everywhere? And I'm just like, I'm not usually like so angry when I'm messing with my plants. Like it just made me angry. I'm like, this is not the plant life for me. Let's see, what else? Yeah, like I guess my goal with my plants is to get them all, like I want them to be big. Little plants are okay, but my goal is like huge plants. So I couldn't see a future with leca, with like if you start with a small plant and it's doing well, as it gets bigger and bigger, like what do you do when it's a floor plant filled with leca? Like how do you even support that? I don't know. It just
yeah.
And then
sorry.
And then I did have issues with, I tried it for about a year and I had a few plants that I thought were doing really well in leca that just very suddenly lost their roots for no apparent reason. It happened probably 5 to 7 times with different kinds of plants. And I don't know if I have hard water, so I don't know if just what's in my water doesn't work long term, but it was very frustrating. Like at least with soil, I have more experience with that. So I know, okay, I did this wrong and I can fix it. With leca, it was like, what the frick? I watered, like I filled the reservoir 1/3. I did all the things. I balanced my pH. I did all the things and it's still like all the roots are dead. So it was kind of like, yeah, I do well with soil. So don't fix it if it's not broken.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And I love that. I'm curious, did you have any issues with your plants when you transitioned them out of leca back into soil? Like, were there struggles with that?
Yeah, it was like the same as going to leca in the first place.
Okay.
I lost my variegated Hoya Huschkeliana.
Oh,
Is that how you say it?
Do you have one?
I am done with that plant, but thank you. No, I'm done. I imported that thing twice. Like, I don't want it anymore, but I really appreciate it. So that one, it wasn't doing well in leca, so I moved it back. I moved it to moss, actually, to try to reroot it, and the whole thing just rotted. But some of my other Hoyas haven't had too much issue. I just kind of put them under a humidity dome and put them in, like, a clear pot of soil so I could see when the root development started happening, and they did fine. For the most part, it wasn't quite as bad as going to leca in the first place, but I didn't really lose many plants. Some of the bigger leca plants I had, I just gave away on Facebook or sold because I didn't want to deal with it. Like I had a really huge neon pothos. It was like a 10-inch pot, and it was like 5 to 6 feet long in leca. And I was like, I don't want to risk this guy. So who wants this that likes leca? So that found a new home.
I'm a little afraid that I'm going to be on that same journey because when I started leca, it was mostly just small Hoya cuttings, and they are all getting so big now that I'm just like, I hate trying to figure out support in leca, even though I do love leca. And it helps with my style of like plant parenting, I think, meaning I let them go to the brink of death before I realize that they need any help. But, they're happy. The Hoyas are happy, at least with that. I don't know about the other plants. But support is my biggest issue with leca because it's just so difficult. But again, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to go from here. I don't know if I'll have these giant Hoyas or not, but I might keep cutting them and trying to get the market to like lower the prices on these plants. Cause
you'll change the whole market with your Hoyas.
There you go.
I have liked Pon better.
That's what I was going to
stuff
ask
in
you.
Pon. Yeah,
I was going to ask you about Pon because
it doesn't fly everywhere so much.
Yeah, and I think that you introduced me to Pon. I think I saw it first on your Instagram page, and I have some, and I have yet to test it out. I'm just waiting to move, but I'm kind of intrigued. So I would love to hear like how you feel about Pon versus leca, and like
So for me, Pon is like, what's in there? There's zeolite, pumice. I'm looking at my Pon. Time release fertilizer and volcanic rock, and it's like small. It looks like fish tank gravel, kind of. And for me, I found it works really well with plants that are thirstier, like the plants I wanted to try in leca, but ended up getting too annoyed to do it. So like I have calatheas in pond that are super happy. I have anthuriums in pond. And I think that might be it.
Okay.
I'm just looking around in self-watering pots. But there is an issue with it. Like you still can't overpot your plant. Like if you get a huge self-watering pot and put a tiny bit of roots in there, like it will rot and die just like soil will. So you have to do a really snug pot in like with the pond even still. But it's been really good for the few. I have like 2 or 3 anthuriums in it and the calatheas. And begonias did well for a while in it. They do really awesome for like 6 months. You will have the most beautiful begonias ever. But then I started getting a lot of powdery mildew, and I don't know if that has to do with the pond or if just a bunch of spores came into my house somehow. Like, so I'm kind of like moving away from pond for my begonias. But if you want like a 6-month beautiful begonia time, try pond for those begonias.
And then expect powdery mildew.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's all downhill from there. But I'm still like struggling a bit with the nutrients. Like some of my plants get chlorotic, and I think we have really alkaline water, which can like lock out iron. So I've been like adjusting my pH for all my plants lately. And I don't know, it's definitely still tricky, but it's really good for thirsty plants, I've found.
With pon, as opposed to leca, you really don't have to clean the roots off when transferring to soil, right?
I still try to, because I've had some stuff rot, like because all that soil's just like wet in there. So I think it's a little bit of a lie that, like the pond people say that they're like, you don't have to clean the roots off, but if it's gonna stay wet in there, you're just gonna have a little nest of mud inside the pond. And it basically is semi-hydroponic growing or passive hydroponic. So I still try to get the roots as clean as I possibly can before I throw them in there. And I have these self-watering pots that I love for pond because they're clear. So you can see the roots. And then, like if I check it after I put one in pond, every few days. And if I can see those little white roots coming, I'm like, all right, we're good. But if I don't, then I'll pull it back out and be like, oh crap, it's rotting.
Panic.
So,
wait, where did you get these pots from?
Amazon.
Ooh, link.
Yeah.
You got a link in your store?
I guess I do.
Highlights?
Yep. And they come in all sizes. You can get them like really little. You can get them up to like 10 inches, I think. So I have like my huge Anthurium magnificent one. I can barely lift it. That thing is going to dump pond everywhere one day. I'm just going to drop it. I know it.
Do you put those pond pots into a cash bowl then, I'm assuming?
I do, yeah. Because otherwise they get algae.
Oh,
Yeah.
All the time.
It's kind of a
So
bummer.
annoying.
But for the official record, I do have most of my plants in soil because, soil. I feel like I'm always
soil.
talking about pond and stuff, but like soil is where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have
Becca
to agree.
agrees.
Yeah.
We're 50-50 in this podcast today, which is not normally the case.
Yeah, I'm
You guys are always bullying Becca. No.
I know. I'm just like a big person that's like, if it's not broken, I'm not gonna fix it. Like there's no point in me like uprooting everything and changing all these things just because of a trend. Like that's just not worth it for me. Like I have a life. My plants are not every single part of my brain, So I don't I don't want to do that. I want to watch TV
I mean, it
at
was
night.
a trend for some, but I don't think it's a lifestyle for me.
As a lifestyle.
Do you know that TikTok?
That needs to be a shirt.
Do you know that TikTok where it's like, at first I was like, bee, as a joke. But I don't think it's a joke
I don't think
anymore.
it's a joke anymore. Yeah.
It's like, but, instead of feet, it's leca for Adam.
Yeah.
But no, I don't ever see myself. Maybe pawn, but you were just describing it. It doesn't feel any different to me than leca. Like, it doesn't.
The main thing for me is that it doesn't fall everywhere and annoy me because it holds the plant in place. So that was like a huge thing with the leca.
Yeah,
with
it's
me.
so much more support with
it's
palm, I
basically
think.
small leca.
Yeah.
I was gifted some pon from a friend. I've tested it now, and I do actually really love it. But I've kind of written off calatheas in my life. But I guess maybe with pon, I could give it another try.
Yeah. There's some calatheas I can't do no matter what, but I definitely have a handful of calatheas that have been really happy in pond because it gives them that moisture, and it holds a weird amount of moisture, like because it's so heavy.
Yeah.
You should give it a go.
Yeah, I've never owned a calathea in my life, but Maybe
Never?
with the never.
That's honestly
didn't?
surprising because they'd probably do
Mosaica.
fine.
We had a mosaica.
Well, that-
That's
They
not Calathea.
reclassified that to a Gapertia,
Yeah,
so
it's a
technically
Gapertia.
you probably still didn't have one.
we only had it for like a week and then it died. So I guess that doesn't even count anyway.
Well, what plants are actually still Calathea? Because so much did get transferred. Well, at some point, I don't even know when. It's just like this mystery thing. Somebody like passive aggressively commented and was like, actually, that was reclassified as a Gapertia like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
Was
I
that
didn't
me
know
that
anything about
commented?
this.
No, it was someone who was like, you really shouldn't be talking if you don't know. I'm like, shut up.
Oh,
Are you an expert? No. Well,
That
no,
is
whatever.
how I get all of my reclassification news is from passive aggressive comments. That's like maybe people are just making it up and they really are still all Calatheas.
I mean,
Is there
maybe.
a newsletter?
Yeah. Can I get on the email list so I can be up to date? It's not that I'm like I'm actively trying to give misinformation. It's just how is there a newsletter? How is this information spread? Like, I don't know. So I really don't know. But I don't think I've ever actually had like a Calathea. Because what is still Calathea?
Like what's a Calathea? Like medallion? That one's still like hardcore Calathea, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
That's like the
and
big
what
circle.
Or like
What about the velvet Calathea?
Yeah,
that
Warsaw
still-
whiskey.
Yeah.
I think that's a Gapertia though.
Is it?
Slowly trailing off.
That's how I do with all the plant names. I just type the start of the hashtag. I don't actually know any of the names.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. I do that all the
I
time.
know the first 4 letters.
Okay, you guys continue a conversation 1 second.
I wanted to know, I kind of want to know. Well, I want to do some rapid fire get to know you questions as a person and not plants, but we'll do that in a little bit. But what's like your favorite plants in your collection right now and maybe your least favorite in your collection right now?
Ooh,
good
okay, I knew
question.
you were going to ask this, so I'm ready for the first one.
Yes.
My current favorite is my Philodendron Dark Lord because it is growing. I mean, it grows a new leaf like every 2 weeks, and they're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're like shiny when they come out and red, like dark burgundy red, and then as the leaves fade, the back stays burgundy, and they're like leathery. Oh my gosh, it's the coolest plant, and they're these just like huge pointy leaves, and it's I can see that I'm going to have to get rid of like 20 plants to make room for it as it grows, but it's totally worth it.
That's amazing, though.
Do you have it on a big support pole?
No, it doesn't even, I give it a lot of sun, so it doesn't even have very big inner nodes. So I mean, I'll need a pole eventually, but currently I'm kind of like starting to think about what to put it on. But right now it's just growing like that, and it's just blasted with sun and it loves it. So that's my favorite. My current least favorite. Probably one of the ones I'm thinking about getting rid of. Oh, okay. I'm kind of over my ZZ Raven.
Really?
I mean,
Yeah.
They're kind of they're slow
Like,
and
why?
boring.
I don't like that it's not green. Is that bad? Like, I know that's the point of it, but like, it just looks so dark and like,
It's very dark.
I like green leaves. So I'm always like trying. I never really liked it, honestly. So the first one I got years ago, like when they were hard to get, I threw it in an import order because it was like $20. And I was like, all right, I'll get one. So I've had that one. And then Costa Farms sent me like a freebie one when I did an unboxing for them, I guess last year. And so I potted them up together. So I have a pretty big one and it's like growing well, but I just, whenever I look at it, I'm just like, I keep changing the cash po. I'm like, maybe I'll like it better if it's like in a different pot, but I don't know. I think it's probably going to go to a new home pretty soon.
I totally get that because my love for the ZZ Raven is only like ignited when I see a new growth.
When they're green, right?
Because it's green, and also that's just very far and few in between, like with the growth,
so
because they're just slow.
Yeah.
you know?
So slow. Yeah.
I am considering throwing it outside for the summer, just
Oh my
to
gosh.
see if it turned into a huge
Yes.
bush, like maybe I would like it then. But
Well,
maybe I'm
you
just
know,
beating a
'cause
dead horse and I'm never going to like it.
ZZs are always been like, oh, if you want a low-light plant, get a ZZ, which I get, but they also thrive. They thrive outdoors. Like I think there's even ZZs outdoors here in Arizona.
Yeah.
So, and I'm wondering if the black foliage would also cause it to not photosynthesize as much, and if you put it outside, maybe it'll just like explode. Wouldn't that be?
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's what I'm thinking. I think it's worth experimenting, and then if I
think
still
it is
hate it
too.
by fall, then I can find somebody locally.
Yeah.
Come dig this up.
Yeah, maybe I'll just plant it in the ground. That's an idea.
There you go.
Can we do the rapid fire get to know you as a person questions?
Let's do it.
Well, I don't really have a lot,
Amanda.
but I'll have a few, and then I'm sure maybe you guys will have a few.
Fire.
Okay,
Violent.
all-time favorite TV show.
Oh gosh, TV probably. I can't do it rapid fire. Probably The Office though, because I've watched that like so many times, like
Oh my gosh, yes.
on repeat.
What's a current favorite TV show?
Current favorite TV show is.
When you have time to watch TV.
I don't watch TV shows.
Or Netflix.
Well, I guess
series
like
or-
does Netflix count?
Yeah.
I can't think of a single thing I've watched lately. We're watching some like murder show right now, but I don't really like murder shows. I'm just watching it to have something on in the background. Can we come back to that one?
Yes. Comfort food.
Chocolate. Anything chocolate.
Oh my gosh, same. Yeah.
Fudgy brownies. Yeah.
Favorite band
Band. I
or
really
musician.
I've been on a Regina Spektor crush for like a while now.
Oh my gosh,
I
she's
love
an
her.
angel.
Yeah. Daniel read a review of her once and they described her singing as vocal acrobatics. So he makes fun of me every time I'm listening to her music. He's like, there's the vocal acrobatics. And I always try to sing along and I can't at all. But I just love her music.
Yeah. I think she did the theme song for Orange is the New Black on
Yes.
Netflix,
Yeah.
and I love that.
Yeah.
Trap, trap, trap till the cage is full. Yeah. I did.
Yes.
I just finished the whatever. I just finished Orange is the New Black recently.
Yeah.
Yep, that last
There you
season.
go.
There you
That's
go.
a current
There's a
TV
show.
show you're watching.
There's
Yep.
a show.
Do you guys have any other like questions? Some
Yeah.
Okay.
Favorite fast food.
Ooh, fast food. Sometimes Taco Bell, but only if they're not out of Baja Blast.
Oh, the Baja Blast Parade.
And I also need like Tums or something.
Yes. 100%.
With a side of Tums.
Yeah,
Side of Tums.
they should offer that in like little packets with the
They
salsa.
really should.
That's a genius idea. Taco Bell, get on this.
Them,
Gosh.
them and White Castle. Like, what is it about? It's like the late night drunk food. What's in it, you know?
I don't know
know
what
what
White Castle is. What is that?
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
gosh. It's
just
so
instant
gross.
diarrhea.
It's so gross.
So bad.
I went
Sometimes
like
that's the
In and
best stuff though.
No, I went there
You
and
just regret it later.
I got a chicken sandwich, and it was like a little patty that you could put in the microwave from the frozen section. Like that's literally what it was, and I was like, what? What's going on here? Like I was hoping for like Chick-fil-A level chicken sandwich, but no, it was not.
Not quite.
They're like this big, like little tiny mini burgers. Super
Yeah.
small. You could eat like 20 of them. Yeah.
Good thing
I'll
you
stick with
don't.
Taco Bell.
Wasn't it your nightstand, Nicole, the other week where you posted on your stories and you had like a bottle of Tums on your nightstand?
I
That
remember
was a Taco
that.
Bell night.
Hashtag life in 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a Taco Bell night.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, go to nail polish color. Like, what's your nail polish like tone?
Oh, like I have this color I like. It's called Nail Concealer, and it's like really neutral, but has a little glimmer in it. So I like it to just look like super neutral nails, but a little better,
Barely there.
like
A
natural.
little pizzazz.
Yeah, not
Like
too
sheer
crazy. I get
curtains.
really tired of looking at colors. I don't know. I think I'm weird like that.
Yes.
Green is okay, but
Yeah.
all things green.
Gosh, any last rapid fire questions? I'm so bad at these. I'm bad at answering them and asking them. So
Me too. Well, if you could
Yeah.
live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
in my own house with my plants, duh.
There you go.
Oh, that was a perfect
Me
answer.
too. That's my answer.
I can't go anywhere
house.
without all these plants, and I'm sure as heck not moving them.
Oh my gosh, yours
Yeah.
are huge. Yeah, that would take forever.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, thank you very much for joining us. This has been so fun to
Yes.
chat with you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's been
Yeah.
finally get to chat with you guys and have you like it's like you're really there this time instead of just listening to you guys talk to each other.
I know.
Well, we absolutely love you. We love your page. And if you guys are not already following Amanda, which, I mean, what are you doing? Go follow her on Instagram. Her page is at Amanda Ray Wright, and that's RAEWRIGHT, right?
Yes.
Right.
Right.
All the links will be in the description in this podcast too. So Wit and Whistle and her plant Instagram, so you can easily find them down below.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And she will
Very
soon be your
cool.
new favorite Instagram account. I promise.
Thank you.
Yes. I love your stories, your reels. Just every time you pop up, I'm clicking it. You know, when those like the first few people that pop up at the top, you're always there. So
Oh, thank you.
yes.
That means a lot to be at the front of your story thing.
Always
it
at
does.
the front.
That's SEO, man.
And now you and Nicole have competing corner sinks in your kitchen. So
Yes.
I'm ready,
It's
I'm ready for
on.
this war.
Oh man, there's no competition, none at all.
Oh my gosh, the corner sink. What a dream. Let's talk about, hold on, no. We're
Yes,
ending off, but
what
the
a
corner
dream.
sink.
It's so good, right?
It's so good.
I was like, I'm putting plants there.
yes.
For sure. I need to post some of the old pictures when we first moved in because I only had like 40 plants when we moved in. And I had like a huge aloe behind the sink and I kept poking Daniel in the eye when he was doing dishes and he was like, this cannot go here anymore.
Leafy plants only, Amanda.
Yeah, totally.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, well, again, if you want to follow any of us, we'll have all of our links in the description. Wait, Nicole, you're running this, so sorry.
You could have done it.
I just pulled to
care.
Nicole, took over.
That's
the
why.
shade.
That's why I let it pass.
Say it.
Okay, guys, if you're not already and you want to follow us, you can find us on our individual social medias. Adam on Instagram is at NotDude, at DelaPlants, at Amanda Ray Wright, and at My Clean Leaves. And then also don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Potted Together. We have a new video coming out pretty soon.
Next week.
We hope. Next week. We got to get on it, guys. What are we doing? We're slacking.
Yep.
Always.
Always slacking.
And then we are not going to ask any user questions today just because we ran a little late. But if you guys have any questions, we'll be answering some of your questions next week. So feel free to send us an email at pottedtogether@gmail.com if you have any questions for us.
pottedtogetherpodcast@gmail.com.
Oops. Potted Together Podcast. It'll be linked below.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, Amanda.
Thanks,
you.
Amanda. It was a joy.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh, I got to say the bye part.
Gear Patrol calls their new dive watch the best sub-$500 dive watch. Full stop. Men's Health rated them as the most stylish solar watch in the game. Who are we talking about? It's Movement. They're leveling up your gift giving with the sleekest watches you can buy and the biggest deals of the season. From their innovative ceramic materials to sexy automatic divers, from ultra-thin dress watches to solar-powered statement pieces, and everything in between, Movement is making sure you're the good gifter this year, for your family, your friends, or for yourself. And now you can take advantage of 30 to 50% off Movement's California clean watches, jewelry, and accessories to get them a gift they'll never forget. With fast, free shipping and returns and amazing bang for your buck, Movement makes for a relaxed shopping experience. And with one-size-fits-all watches, it's an easy, elegant gifting experience too. Shop 30 to 50% off now at mvmt.com. That's mvmt.com.